This is a Shock podcast.
Shock. Hello everyone and welcome back to The Art of Beauty. How are we all doing? Great, good, not so good. Well, in any case, I hope you guys are doing at the very least okay. And if you're not, then I hope this week's episode of The Art of Beauty can be soothing for you to help carry you into the weekend. Quick side note before we get started on the episode, but Hailey Bieber glazed donut nails, I'm due to get them this week with a friend of mine for the very first time to see what the hype is all about. It actually suits my aesthetic because I'm very much a basic gal when it comes to nails, and I've been trying to branch out lately by doing some nail art as well instead of just keeping it solid. I've also been trying out a lot of chrome dust, but just not the Hailey Bieber nails specifically. But this week is the week and I'm gonna finally do it. Anyway, as per usual, I digress, but on this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite concealers with a cheeky color corrector added to the list because why not? I don't know how you guys use your concealers, but I'm not a heavy-duty concealer kind of person, only because I low-key like my dark circles. Is that weird? It's giving, okay, she's grungy and cool, but at the same time, maybe she could do with a couple hours of extra sleep, which is true because I have trouble sleeping in general. Besides the point, I'm the kind of person that applies it where just like absolutely necessary, and for me that would be like the inner part of my under eyes and just like the outer part. So no upside down triangle business under my eyes. I think it's a bit much for me personally, but in any case, I think that less is more when it comes to concealer for me, and I'm quite strategic about how I place it down. Okay, and now, time for the recommendations. Here we go, in no particular order. First up, the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. This is my current go-to, and I think the bottle that I have has lasted me about a year, maybe, if I'm being super honest. It's probably on its last legs, but I just haven't felt the need to go out and buy anything else at this very moment because it serves me quite well. It's apparently great for highlighting and contouring as well. It's called multi-use, isn't it? So it better be giving us multi-use. But anyway, I use it purely as an under eye or spot concealer. It's quite hydrating and it's a long wearing formula for sure, and I find that I don't have to touch it up throughout the day even if I don't set it. Whenever this does crease a little bit, I can easily tap this out with my finger to make it smooth again thanks to its natural, super like not matte finish. And I also really like the consistency of this concealer. It's creamy and non-drying, especially when you apply it under your eyes. I love it, and I am sad that it's coming to an end, but who knows, I might end up picking up some of the other concealers on this list, you know? Next up is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This was definitely one of my favorite concealers throughout university. I remember I got conned into buying two different colors, one for actual concealing and one for correcting, as if my dark circles were even that bad then. It honestly wasn't, in my opinion. I love this one so much, and this was my favorite concealer before the Too Faced one came into my life. Unlike the cakey concealers that were kind of everywhere like even 5 years ago, the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer is super smooth and it's really easy to apply. The consistency is such a dream, and I find that even if you layer it, it doesn't become too much and become, like gross as the day goes on. In the same vein, we've also got the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer for our matte-loving people. Hello, I have not forgotten about you. Matte often looks too opaque and too matte, and therefore it can kind of look a bit fake on the skin, but I think this one in particular looks great. It comes in a pot, which, personal preference, is a no-go for me, but it's got full coverage finish with a soft matte look. It's also oil-free, lightweight, yet it's ultra pigmented. So when I'm telling you that a little goes a long way, a little goes a long way. For a matte concealer, this one is super impressive because matte concealers in general they tend to emphasize pores, imperfections, and they can kind of look cakey, but this just doesn't do that at all. If you're the kind of person that needs a bit more slip to blend in your products and want a lighter consistency in your concealers, then I would go for the Radiant Creamy Concealer rather than this one. Okay, we're moving on to the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. Did you even have a proper teenage makeup phase if you didn't pick this up at least once in the entirety of your time at school? Yeah, no. This one makes my heart do somersaults still because it really does take me back to my school days and when I knew squat about makeup. Mind you, I hated the way this one looked on me back in the day, but I think that's because I just didn't know how to use it. So that'd be my fault, and I only have myself to blame for doing this product dirty. It's got a natural matte finish, so if you're looking to cake this thing on, then you're doing this concealer a total disservice, in my opinion. There's a reason why people, including myself, still talk about this one to this day, and that's because it brings about so much nostalgia. It's a cult classic for a reason. Apart from the god-awful sponge, what I really love about this concealer in hindsight is its versatility. I wouldn't say that this is my first concealer. The first ever concealer that I bought was this stick concealer. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm even talking about this. It's a stick concealer from The Body Shop, and I remember I started using that when I was 12 and I had no idea how to use makeup in general, but I saw this girl in my class using it and I was like, cool, this is gonna cover up my acne at the time, and I have really fond memories about it. I remember using it. I would not use it now. I think it's a little bit too greasy and the formula itself is just not as sophisticated as the formulas that you can get now, but throwback, you know? Let me know if you use that one. Right, we're halfway there. The Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. Okay, so I wasn't a fan of the Fenty matchsticks. I thought it looked really dry on my under eyes. So when they came out with this, I was like, sick. Let's give this a shot. Firstly, it's available in a whopping 50 shades. The formula is creamy with excellent coverage, and for the under eyes, it's nice and it's brightening. It's flawless when blended out properly, but you know, when I'm in a rush, it does tend to crease and settle into my lines. But with that being said, if you're the type to take your time with the makeup, then go for it. I would absolutely recommend it. If you're in need for a fuss-free concealer that you can tap out with your fingers, then I wouldn't go for this one. Unfortunately, I did send this concealer to its early grave last year when I smashed it because I dropped it on the ground, so pro tip, be careful with the packaging. Now, onto the Pat McGrath concealer. Whoever does the copywriting for Pat McGrath product descriptions, this one included, needs a raise. Give that person a raise. Listen to how it's described, right? Here we go. This concealer is formulated with the Vitaserum complex to moisturize and help fight the appearance of wrinkles and optically diffusing pigments to help unveil a stunning, soft focus effect that blurs imperfections without settling into fine lines. Doesn't that just make you want to jump on it and buy it straight away? It sounds amazing and perfect, doesn't it? It's probably not as lightweight as something like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but what I really liked about this concealer is the way it sticks to your skin, which I know it sounds a bit weird, like in like the least grossest way possible, but what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't crease and it doesn't break up easily, and it's just super reliable. So I like it. Okay, now to the mother of all concealers, the Tarte Shape Tape. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this, only because it is, like, matte. Matte with a capital M. But I know that, okay, say in a room of 10 people, maybe 5 or 6 of them will say that they're currently using the Tarte Shape Tape or have used it before and liked it. So it would be remiss of me not to include it in this list. It's a well-loved product because it literally erases everything. Every single thing. If you love a full beat every day and you want a new full coverage concealer to go with that, then this one's for you. For me, I'm a tinted moisturizer girl. So this concealer just looks a bit jarring on me, but to each their own, it's a good concealer for that full glam look if that's your thing. Oh, okay, we're almost at the end. Okay, here we go. The e.l.f. Cosmetics Hydrating Camo Concealer. e.l.f. has a few concealers in their repertoire, but I find that this is the most appealing one to me purely because there's the word hydrating in it. Is that weird? This formula is great for all skin types, while it also does give like a boost of hydration underneath your eyes. A little bit does go a long way, but you don't have to worry about it getting out of hand. The finish is satin, but really it looks natural. It's not too matte or too shiny. And I love how creamy and hydrating it is. This concealer is so smooth and flawless, and texture-wise, it's probably a little thicker than some other hydrating concealers that I've named before this, but I think the price is great, and you get quite a lot of product for it as well, so win-win. Last but not least, for the concealers, we have the Benefit Boy Ing Cakeless Concealer. Am I pronouncing that right? I have no idea. But apparently this is a dupe for the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have never tried that one out, so I can't verify that for you. I'm sorry. But this concealer is on the lightweight side again, and all it needs is a light hand on application, so you really don't need to go ham on it for that full coverage. If you like something like the Tarte Shape Tape in terms of coverage, then this is a good one to try as well. Now, for the cheeky color corrector that I wanted to shove in this episode, the LA Girl HD Pro Conceal Color Corrector. This one comes in a squeezy tube, and although it's a concealer, I actually like to use it for color correcting. They do offer quite a few color correcting colors, including green, this iridescent lilac one, yellow, mint, orange. Oh, by the way, if you need a little masterclass in color correcting, let me just break it down for you quickly. They are supposed to essentially neutralize certain unwanted colors on your face before you lay over your foundation or concealer. If you look at the color wheel, right, you'll be able to see complementary colors. So that's basically colors opposite another color. So if you look at red, opposite that color on the color wheel will be green, which is why a green color corrector is used to cancel out redness. Get it? So another example is yellow cancels out dark circles because purple and yellow are opposite each other on the color wheel. You get the gist of it. Anyway, LA Girl has this amazing array of color correctors with natural looking coverage that evens skin tone, camouflages dark circles, redness, and blemishes, so I would highly recommend them if you want to get a color corrector. You don't need them, though. I think I need to stress that. Concealers themselves tend to have either a peachy or yellow or pink undertone as it is, so the product in itself color corrects the blue or purple tones in your dark circles. Make sure you look up the color wheel as well to learn a bit more about that, because I'm not the biggest expert because I don't color correct all the time. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode where I talk about my top 10 concealers. As always, hope you guys are doing good, and make sure you tune in to a new episode of The Art of Beauty every other week on Thursday at 10 a.m. Alright, till then, catch you guys soon. Bye!